Hello everyone, we're back again. We're on. Today we're doing Dance Without Music, Precision 2, 3 quadrants equal 1, time and distance, time and direction. And the last point we're going to cover is the two major forces. Okay. Now, what I want to do is the first one is going to be quadrants. Moving we have all three quadrants. So I think I should just get up and just do it and let you see, because you can't. It's not, yeah, it's the best thing to do. Okay. So I'm going to also use the dance that we're into now with the first part of the thriller dance that I kind of incorporate. But as I said, it's dance without music, and that dance is used to help explain a lot of things. And we're going to perfect it, and now we're into precision, and it's jam packed with so much information. That's why I had to do 3 videos already, but you will most likely be lost if you don't go back and understand what's going on, because I can't explain pretty much anything I've already expressed in this dance without music. I know it's something new, so let me put this one. So I know with something new, there's not too many people that can really. There's going to be very few or a handful of people to understand what's going on, but it will definitely catch on, and I just got to keep doing it. You know what I mean? Okay, so now we're talking about the first part, which is three coordinates, and we know about our coordinates. We have this coordinate, which is the right coordinate or the natural coordinate. Right meaning, how can I say? Right meaning the correct or something like that. Okay, doesn't mean right and left. There's no right and left. So we have the right coordinate. Then we have the other coordinate, which is, I can say, opposite of the right coordinate, but this is the other coordinate. Okay, it could be done with a balance, or it could be done with propping this part up like this. Okay, like that. That's still the right coordinate. This is still the other coordinate, and this is still the right coordinate or the natural coordinate. Even like you said, if you go out of bounds, you can still see that you're in that coordinate. Then there's the in-between coordinate, which overlaps or could overlap, and it's pretty much like this. I'm not going to talk about forces or anything. We're going to be careful with that so that you can understand. It's really, really complex. Okay, so like when we're like this, we're in the in-between coordinate. And you could favor a coordinate. If I'm in between, I could favor the right coordinate or the natural coordinate like this, or I could favor the other coordinate, but I'm still in the in-between coordinate because I can rock back and forth. Okay, so that's pretty much tells you when you go like this, that pretty much tells you that you're in the in-between coordinate. Okay. Now, those 3 coordinates equal 1 coordinate. Okay, so it's, instead of saying coordinates, okay, the coordinates move. You say the coordinate moves. The coordinate moves. So that's why I say it's more like we're developing a language, because that's probably not used too much, because you have 3 things and then 1 moves. Okay, now let me show you that part of this YouTube that we're going to go over. Remember, this is Dance Without Music Precision 2, and we're on now 3 coordinates equal 1. So when I go like this in the first part of the dance, and I go like, okay, so I'm moving the coordinate or 1 coordinate. but it's 3 coordinates that I'm actually moving. But when we speak of it, and as far as the language in this course, we're going to say the coordinate, or the coordinate in that case it would be 1 coordinate. So you have 3 coordinates, this coordinate, this coordinate, and this coordinate equals 1 coordinate. So that's, which takes us to the next part. Okay, let me move that so I can show you, okay? And this is 1 coordinate moving, okay? Okay, it goes something like that. That's just to show you how it goes. So, now we're going on to the next one, where we're talking about excuse me, time and distance. Okay, now there's something in a dance, and this is definitely dance without music, and it goes along with the thriller dance that we're going to do. And if the dance looks kind of shaky already, believe me, it's going to clean up, because I'm going to continually do this until we perfect everything. Like I said, we're in precision now, and I show you the rough draft of everything. I don't practice because I don't have time to practice, which is good because it puts me in a mindset to for perfection. Okay, because I know there's no practice time. Okay, so now we're going to the next point, which is time and distance. I'm going to use the dance. But there's one point that I want to tell you, like I said, one point in the dance that shows you something about distance. Because when you do a dance, and also in the thriller dance, you have a certain amount of time, or a certain distance that you have. You cannot dance for, you only have a certain amount of distance. If you look back at the first video, I explained, like I told you, I explained about distance, keeping a small distance. So we're, like I said, we always refresh what we learned in the beginning. So here we go. So we have this distance, and we only have a certain amount of distance. So we're going to use the dance to show you, the first part, to show you time and distance. Right now, it's a time. And I go, okay, I'll show you that again. Okay, now did you see how I was further away and then now I'm here? That's distance got me there, okay? And this whole YouTube is going to explain everything in a package, but I'm breaking it up. So I need you to keep let me see, how can I say it? Not concentrate. I want you to keep those points that I'm telling you right now about time and distance, time and direction, okay? So this is distance. I'll do distance again. And notice what happens when I do distance. In order for me to do distance, I go like this, this, okay? But the time is already here. I have a time. If you look at me, and this time I'm telling you, you can see. But when I move, I'm moving a distance. Okay, so very important point. Very important point. So I need you to keep that in mind, the distance. Now, direction. direction. I'm going to use this next part to show you direction, okay? Direction, and remember there was two things. We had the time, like I'm right here, now I'm 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 here, okay? So just keep that in your mind. Now we're going to the second part of what we did is it's going to be time and direction. And remember the shake, time and direction. There's something I didn't tell you, but I'm going to say we're in time right now, okay? Now I need a direction, okay? And I'm going to direct this part to move, okay? So this is done sideways. So we have a shaking right here. But I need this time. Just hold on. I'm not going to be able to explain. All this is one package. So just hold these points together until we get to the end of this YouTube. It's like when you're a reporter, and I don't know how in the world they do it, but when people ask 3 questions and they answer all 3 questions without asking them again, it's something like that. Just try and hold it. Anyway, you can go back and forth, and that'll help you too. So now, I'm showing you direction, but you won't get a full understanding until the end of this YouTube. So we have time, which I'm here at this time. Remember I was here at this time? I was here at this time? Well, now I'm here at this time. And I'm showing you the shaking. And I'm shaking in the natural quadrant. Now I'm going to shake in the in-between quadrant, okay? And then I'm going to transfer over to the other quadrant, okay? And I'm shaking there. But when they do it in a dance, it's done like this. So I'm right here right now. So let me get over there, and I'm gonna need distance in order to get over there, okay? Remember, hold these points. Now you see how I use the quadrant to move from one, remember I said quadrant. I use I use a singular for a plural. Now how I use the quadrant to get from one point to the other point. So now let's see how the dance is. But however, on the dance, I'm also going to use distance. So this is direction. I can't really explain yet, complete it about the direction to explain to you what direction is until later on, but I want you to hold those thoughts. So here, this is direction. Remember, this is right here. This is using distance. Just review it real quick. Using distance. Okay, let me do that a little bit better. It goes faster. Okay, so. Okay, one more time. Okay, so that's using distance. But now we're going to add something with the shake. It's going to be using direction, okay? Hold the direction. So remember what I said, this is direction. Then when I transfer over, I'm doing a distance, okay? But now we're just going to concentrate on the direction, time and direction. The other one was time and distance. Now we're time and direction on the second part. Okay, this is also a direction, okay? But we haven't gotten up there yet. So I don't really talk too much about this, but I'll use it. And also, when we go like that, I don't talk too much about this because this is also another study. And the reason why I don't talk about it because like when we do these points, they're covered so fine that we could use them anywhere. Okay? So when we get up here, we'll be able to use a lot, we'll be able to learn a lot more things, a lot of other things. So now we're just pretty much staying here. So now here we go. I'm just going to do it, and we're talking about direction now, and I can still use that direction. Okay. Another amazing thing too, by understanding this, you're in control of the dance. You'll see. I'm also going to put personality. After I finish this second direction again, I'm going to show you how much personality you can put in it by knowing these things. Okay, now in that one we had direction and we had distance. Okay, and I already explained today. I explained it this way and I explained it that way. Now we're into two different forces. This is a biggie. Remember we talked about force before in former YouTubes. Force is force, speed, direction. Remember when I said that? Force, speed, direction. Yeah. Think of them as one. Now we're not going to think about that at all. Because if you remember, I always said that in some of my videos, in one of my videos, this one was another video on being a, becoming a master viewer, okay? That's the other program I have. And I stated that, I don't know what was that point. I stated that, okay, I almost lost that point. That was a point, but I'm going to get back to that point. It's a good point, but I lost my point because I wanted to get into this. Okay, I was thinking about, I wanted to explain something clearly. Okay, about how I go back, okay, going backwards. How I spoke in this other YouTube about how I've taken so many beginner classes, the beginning of so many things, because I wanted to know. I knew if I knew the beginning, I could do everything else. That's my mind. I said if I could see in a book the beginning of this or a beginning of that, I would understand everything. And what I found out is the beginning, learning the fundamentals or the beginning is another book, but only you have to go backwards. Okay? So that's what I mean when I'm talking about force. We talked about force. Now we're going backwards. Because in our mind, at a certain level that we were at down here, it made you think that force was just one force, and that's it. Force is force. This is force, that is force, this is force. Now we're going backwards, like. So force, and then we have to go to the, it's a beginning of force that I told you about. Now we have to go backwards. Or I could say break it down more, because at the beginning they break everything down. Now we're breaking force down, okay? So now, I'm going to speak about these forces, but what we just learned is before forces, okay? Things that happen before we talk about forces, okay? So, the two major forces. We know this. Have you ever came, I'm almost sure everybody's done it, when you're walking and you come to a stoplight and you're standing still. You're not doing anything. And then the light turns green. Have you ever, and light turns green or the walk sign turns on, you can cross the street. What are you actually doing? I would always think about, like, I was just standing still and now I'm walking. How in the world did I do that? You know what I mean? And it had to come from my mind that said, because I'm looking at the sign, and when it turns when it turns white to where the Walkman is going, I walk. Or it's just like when you're in a car and you're at a stop sign. You're at a stop sign, or not a stop sign, it's a red light. And then it's a green light. And then you can go, okay? The only way you know to go is because you see the green light and it triggers something in your mind and you use your mind. So evidently, you have to use your mind in order to move again. So when you're at the stop sign, and I would be at the stop streets, this happened to me a lot. This is how I think. And I'm walking and I come to the sidewalk, come to the corner, and there's a stop. There's cars going, and I can't go. And then it says walk. I look at the cars that stop. It's in my mind, and then I walk. And that amazed me. That amazed me so much. And now I understand. Now, let's talk about the two forces, okay? Remember, one force, we stopped. And what keeps us there is that one force. And remember when I said one thing, I'm like this right now. And I could actually fall, or my body doesn't want to fall right now because I have a floor and I have the pressure right now. But I have a seat right here, and I can have no problem falling to the seat, okay? Like I said, there's no gravity. I threw that away, okay? So things could actually fall, okay? So see this? I let it go, and it falls. The weight. That's the energy of weight. So we're going back from force, we're saying an energy of weight, okay? So now, I'm at the stoplight, and my energy of weight is causing a pressure, and I just stand there. There's no energy, nothing that I can do that's making me have any problems or anything with just standing. It's just like beautiful. I can stand here for a long time. But in order to go, I can't use the same weight. I can't use the same energy. I need another energy. So this is the first force. Not the first force, but this is a force. But this is the first one I'll mention. That's the force right here. It just stands, okay? And that's a force. But then there's another force, which comes from the mind. Like I said, when you stop walking and then you want to go, because you see a light, it's in your mind. So your mind has a force also. And we're just talking about forces. We're not talking about, like I said, in order to do this, your body has to be totally conditioned. So we're not talking about, it's something that to get to this point, it's something that you have always, you have gotten used to understanding. It's not something that you're going to mess up your mind to figure out, because I'm telling you right now, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking your time and developing what I have been talking to you about for the last 2 years, okay? Taking your time step by step. But I know there's some people that say, and I'm stopping you right now, oh, it's my mind, so let me just work it and let me just find it in my mind and let my mind do it. Where it doesn't work like that. Because first of all, your mind has to have the capabilities, or what I'm trying to get you to do is set your body up so that you can feel these things. If you don't set your body up, which takes a long time, okay, and and I went through all the problems, and I made it easier for you by telling you all the mistakes. I put out all the mistakes. So that's why I'm saying go to the beginning. But I know that there's people who see it and they understand it in their mind, and then they go, okay, that's it. But it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. It's not something. It's not something that you work. It's not something tedious. It's not something. It's something very natural. Once you condition your body, and the conditioning comes from the beginning. Okay, and I said, now that's one thing I will say constantly and constantly, because I know how the mind works. I know that the mind, I can say the mind, I know that people, not just so much the mind, personalities, there's certain personalities that are greedy, and I was greedy too, to understand certain things. But only about me, it's a little bit different because I've done this ever since I was a kid. And I know the harm, and I know pain, and I know the problems that you can go into by doing it the wrong way. Okay? That's why I'm telling you the easy way, and I'm telling you to take your time, and things will work out. It's just you could learn one thing and be high off of it for a week, and like I said, once you get the first understanding of this program, it's like a high. Okay, it's like a euphoria. Okay, and you want to take your time, and it's something so beautiful. But like I said, it's not something, if you're doing it in a way to where it's causing you, it's not to cause you a problem, it's just doing it, like I said, in the beginning, it's done fractions, even I did it, fractions of a second sometimes. Fractions of a second, and then it goes away. I mean, fractions of a second, and it goes in. You get premonitions, and I said the premonitions is, we have our own definition of premonitions. And you can see yourself doing better. Okay, so that's enough of that, but it's very important. Okay, so now that's what I'm talking about. So this is a force that's there, and this is the number one force, because you can you cannot do any exercises. Your muscles can atrophy and whatever, but you will definitely have this force that I'm talking about right now. Weight, it will be there. Okay, you have to eat. Okay, and that's the first thing. But in order to move, you need another force. I call it hydrogen X. I try not to, but that's the only thing I can do. That's the weirdest thing about this, is that I have to, because we always think it's just one force and everything is done by one force. But now you're understanding, in order to move, you need another force. Have you ever just was standing and somebody played with you and then they knocked you like that? That was another force. Okay, so now you know the second force. Now let's show you the second force. The second force, if I raise my leg like that, okay, I just use the other force. Okay, and it's something I got from a direction in my mind. Like I said, your mind has to be conditioned though. You can do it. I can tell you right now, your mind cannot be conditioned, and you'll just do it, but it's not hooked. Okay, you just do it because of how can I say, subconsciousness. But we're not talking about subconsciousness. Okay, we're talking about, see, like when I lift it, I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay, I can see it. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so that's the second force. I call it hydrogen X. It doesn't mean anything. In actuality, language, the only thing we use language is hints. Hints about what's in someone's heart. Okay? If you want to know somebody, if they love you, if they give you hints that they love you, that's better than them saying it. Hints. Okay? Because language is a whole bunch of hints. They don't tell us exactly what they feel, but English is very close to a very I mean, I'm sorry, everybody talks about America and stuff like that. I know there's a lot of bad things about America, but they have something in their language in that a lot of things that we say are hints. The way we say it is hints. We could say something, we could say one word so many different ways, American English. Like I said, but in England they know how to use those words. Okay? But that's what I'm saying. So anyway, so now that's what I'm saying is I'm saying we lift this right here, okay? And we can see it. We have this right here, which is the one energy, and we have another energy. So we have two forms of energy. Okay? If I sit down, okay, I can use the weight to sit down. Okay? But to get up, I need hydrogen X. I'm sorry I have to use hydrogen X as the only thing I see that it is. You know what I mean? I'm glad it's weird because then you won't try and use it in your mind. Okay? So I'm going to get up. Okay. And in order for me to understand this, I had to go through so many things. Okay? I can recuperate because I've been doing it ever since I was a little kid. And I made a lot of mistakes, and I was very careful, and I just know how to recuperate. That's the number one thing. I learned how to recuperate and how to be careful. Now I'm at the point to where I can say, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to do this. Okay? I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to do that because I know I have to process the information. So, like I'm saying, but I'm giving you this beautiful thing in that I'm showing you the right direction without any of the pain. I mean, we're not going to talk about pain, but the right direction, the perfect direction, precision. That's what I'm telling you about. Okay. So now we're at the stoplight, and we have our first force, and we need another force. Well, we're going to wait for that light to turn white, the walk light, and as soon as we see the walk light, we're going to use the other force. Okay? I'm still using it now. Now, going back to the dance, okay? Remember when we did this? Now you can see when we did this, we're using two forces. And you see I can put personality into it now because I'm learning the precision. So when I learn the precision, I can put more personality into it. So you also see that the direction, the distance, okay? I hope that I said distance because that's what I was talking about, distance. Sometimes, like I'm saying, sometimes I'll say, I just hope that I'm gonna look at this, but I'm sure I was saying distance, not, because I might have said direction instead of distance, but we're definitely talking about distance when we're talking about this. Now, in order to make the distance, the hydrogen X makes the distance. And the first one is the time. The first force is the time. Like right now is the time. And I'll say it out loud okay, I'm in the first force, okay? And then hydrogen X, hydrogen X, hydrogen X, hydrogen X, hydrogen X, hydrogen X. Okay, so my distance, I formed the distance with hydrogen X. I did the time with the other force because it's there, it's always there. It's like in a clock, okay? When you look at the clock, if you see the hand, that's the time, okay? When it moves, that's the distance. It moves, okay? And if you try and look at a distance, it's hard to, but like I'm talking about a clock that has hands on it, okay? And it sweeps the circle, okay? And every time it moves, it would be like the hydrogen X if it was like the dance that we're talking about. And the hand itself is always there. That's the time, okay? So we cleared that one up, and that's to explain to you about the two different energy, the two different forces that we use. And now we're going to go back to this, and I'm going to show you. Remember when I said the distance? Remember when I said this is direction? Something that when okay when your uh, when your quadrant moves, remember quadrant moves its direction. No, yeah. When your no, when your quadrant moves is distance. When your quadrant moves is distance. Remember that. And we're not talking about force, speed, direction. We're not talking about that. We're going back. We're going backwards. We're going inside that now. So when your when your weight moves, okay, it's distance, okay, and when you use hydrogen X, and then every time, like you, the time is always there, okay, but when you move, the time is a distance, okay. So like if I move, like I told you, I was moving here, okay, so the time is always there, but the distance, I moved with hydrogen X the distance. So that's to show you that there's two different forces working, you know, but it's all one thing. Okay? So now, and another thing I want to tell you is I'm telling you this, but it's to get you to understand. It's hints for you to understand. It's not for you to walk around and go, this is that, this is that, this is that. No, it doesn't work like that. It's all you have to do is just get the understanding of something. You ever go to you're walking around and you go, hey, do you know where such and such a thing is? And they go, oh yeah, it's right there. Okay? It has nothing to do with what they said. You just understood what they said, and then you went for it. This is what I'm talking about. Try and keep that in mind, okay? And you could, okay, so I'm not going to go there. Okay, so now we're talking about direction. Something, like I said, if your quadrant moves, it's distance. If your quadrant is not moving, okay, if your quadrant moves, it's distance. If your quadrant is not moving, it's direction, okay? So when I go like this, I'm not moving, and I go like this, that's direction, okay? So that means if I go like this, it's direction, 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 direction. But I can put them all together and put direction and distance. So if I go like this, and remember, like this right here and this right here is still in that one quad, and you're still in the quadrant, okay? So if I go from here to here, it's still a distance, it's still direction. But in order for it to be distance, I have to move the quadrant, okay? So, and to move the quadrant, I have to do this. Now I'm going to move the quadrant, okay? So this is direction, direction. But on this one, direction, then I move, that's distance. Now it's direction, direction, and then that's the distance. So I'm just going to talk about direction now. Direction, direction. This is my hands up, is direction, 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 direction. So the direction is obtained by hydrogen X also, okay? The direction, okay? Because you're here, you're in time, okay? We'll call this more so time. And then direction is directing this here, directing the force or the energy. Let's not talk about force yet, okay? So you have a force that's there, it's in time, and then you have a direction, okay? And this direction is moving, okay? And I can direction, direction, okay? Direction, direction. Just try and you'll put the pieces together, but it's not something to think about. It's something to just go forward and understand it. Now, the last part, like I said, we're already in the last part. The last part of the dance is actually using the two full forces. Okay. I'm just gonna do it and then close it because it's too long now. Okay. To where it goes like this and then goes like this, and you're right here, but you have to make a distance. So in order to make a distance, we need the other force. We need hydrogen X. Right now we're in the first force. Okay, and then I'm gonna, okay, just look at what happens. Okay, I want to do that again because right here, so you can see, I think you have to see his feet. I don't know if you can or not. Okay. So the force, the hydrogen X, goes here, and it pushes the weight, but then we're getting into control, and I want to get in control. So let's just say that's the hydrogen X, pushes to make the distance. Okay. That's the last part, is to show you that there's two different forces. And now do it one more time. This first force is not going to do anything. You can sit here all day, but without the hydrogen X, there you can't move around. You can't do anything. Okay? You just need the hydrogen X. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the hydrogen X. It does a trick. This is a trick. I can explain it. I explained it in the first one or the second one, I think. But we'll get into it. But this majorly is to show you when I make this distance, it's hydrogen X. Okay? Now there's nothing I can do. Okay? I can't do anything unless I use the hydrogen X. Okay, so now you see just that little bit of time is the other force. So now we know that there's more than one force. May the force be with you. Oh, here we go.